All right, hello, B-Siders. Welcome to another episode of my podcast, and this one's a guest episode. And I'm so thrilled to have one of those again. It's been a little while, but these things happen. But here I am back with another amazing human to chat to about music and everything that goes with it. And without further ado, my guest today is the wonderful Nat, or as I call her, Natty Nat Nat. Welcome, Nat, to Living on the
Hi.
Inside.
Thank you, B. Happy to be here. Very excited.
Yeah, I know. I'm so glad you came on because, like we chatted a bit over the last couple of weeks, you have some really cool, amazing things relating to music. So happy to share that, and hopefully they might inspire other people to dabble into music and, maybe try different music, anything along those lines. So,
For sure, for sure.
yeah.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed.
Now, we're hoping the Zoom gods are on our side today because
Yes.
sometimes, with everyone on Zoom these days,
We want gremlins. No gremlins.
no gremlins today. The only gremlin that might pop up is Nat's wonderful cat.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's probably around here somewhere, so you never know.
You never
We'll
know.
probably be halfway through and then he'll just pop his little head up.
So we call it a VIP appearance.
Yes.
That's what
I'm sure he would call it that.
Wow, he's a cat. Cats, Yes, so before we dive into all things music, I just thought I'll sort of introduce you a little bit. And then if anything that you want to add, just add it at the end.
Yep.
Otherwise, we can dive straight in.
Perfect.
We've kind of met through music, and we've kind of met in person when you attended one, or not attended, but you worked at one of the Hub Productions events for Supernatural. For anyone that doesn't know that, it's a TV show. Been going for like forever. Stopped now, but go on Google, look it up if you don't know what it is. And if you don't, you're probably one of the few that doesn't because it's been huge. So that's one of the main ones that's been going regularly. So you're a talent handler there. You're also a guest liaison. And you also do a bit of emceeing sometimes. It's all about events, isn't it, for you? Do you want to go a little bit into what that entails so anyone can understand a little bit more what that is and how that kind of moves into music then as well?
So with when I'm guest liaison for that particular company, it basically is me looking after every guest who is there, and by guest I mean any of the talent. So normally with us, it is acting talent, whether it's TV and movies. It is also comic book talent. So it could be the writers, it could be the artists themselves. So when it's guest liaison, it's basically looking after the needs of every single guest that's there. When I'm a talent handler, that is basically one-on-one work. So it's when you're assigned a particular person for whatever show it is that I'll be working. So that's when I work one-on-one with whoever it may be. Usually at the events that B comes along to, it is I look after Richard Spate Jr. We've been working together now for 7 years now. Gosh, that's a long time. So I always am assigned him just because we make a good team and we get along really well. And then the emceeing is something new. I only dabbled with that, I think, the last couple of shows. That was different, but it was a lot of fun. So that's basically facilitating, hosting the actual event, because the events themselves consist of Q&A portions and also some interactive elements with the guests when they come along. So it's basically me facilitating those Q&As and also helping with some of the fun things, like sometimes we get the people to play games along with the attendees and stuff like that. So it's actually a lot of fun being the MC, and you kind of get to see a lot of the reactions of the attendees in the crowd, which is it's probably the biggest kick, seeing how excited everyone gets and really into the day. And it's nice to see people's dreams come true. I think that's the best part of it. So yeah,
nice. Yeah, I can vouch that while the day can be very long as an attendee, but it's also a lot of fun. And for me personally, I always like to see as much behind the scenes as I can when I go to either a concert or an event.
Yeah.
I just like to watch people who work there, put it that way, and just see how they do it, what they do. So that for me is always a big part of any event I go to. And yeah, so it's and then obviously hearing a little bit from, you know, from your end, what you are able to share, because obviously there's a privacy thing as well that obviously you've got to, you know, be mindful of. But yeah, it's really interesting to sort of see how you guys do it and then be there as someone who just attends, you know. But yeah. It's definitely something that someone has to experience, I think.
Definitely. Like if there is ever anything that you've ever thought of, you know, even if it's just something like I've always wondered what a convention is like, there's so many opportunities to get out and see it, and it's a pretty interesting experience. It's more fun than what people think, and I think it's a little bit more welcoming than people think, because I think a lot of people think, oh, it's just comic books, or it's just anime, or it's just cosplay, or, you know, they have a very like, from an outsider's perspective, it is hard to know what it's all about. But, you know, you might be able to get a picture with someone, or get, you know, someone's autograph that you've always wanted to meet. And it's a really special experience seeing people meet their heroes. It's really cool. It's really cool. So highly recommend it. People should check it out.
Yeah, definitely. And just to put my last bit onto that, I did volunteer a couple of times, and that was fun too, just seeing the other end of it.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, to actually, like you say with the emceeing, you see people in the line and they're about to meet a person they've always wanted to meet, and then just see that light, their eyes light up, and knowing they're next in line. Just things like that are just, you know, amazing.
Yeah.
It makes the sore feet worth it.
Yeah, it makes the long days worth it, my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say anything. My volunteering had a nice sort of, this is the day, and that's when you stop. Yours is probably a little bit longer than mine, so I can't say anything.
Yeah, anyway. Look, I can't say, it's been a while since I've done an 18-hour day, so I can't complain.
I know. Fingers crossed those days come again and we can all experience concerts or events or conventions or whatever it is. Yeah. Now, obviously, music is always a big part of any event, because music can ramp people up, it can get them in the mood, you know, so that kind of goes hand in hand. And before we get to kind of hold that thing, I just wanted to kind of go back a little bit and talk about your personal music history, so to speak. Like, what's kind of your first memory of music, and, you know, how has that shaped your relationship with music?
Yeah, probably one of my most earliest memories is I was a toddler, and I was gifted by a family friend. They gave me a cassette tape of a Yugoslav singer. Her name is Lepa Brena. And I remember being given her cassette, and I just remember looking at her picture, and I looked at her, and to me, she looked like a real life Barbie doll. And I just thought, oh my gosh, she's the loveliest lady I've ever seen. Hadn't even listened to the cassette yet, but I was just so mesmerized. And I think it's because it was the first, I guess, piece of music given to me that was for me. And so, like, that was so special. And I remember going home, and my grandma made a big fuss because she used to have this really huge stereo system. Like, I'm talking that old 70s style with the massive speakers, and then like there's a record player attached to it. And it was like this big deal because it was in the lounge room. And anyone who comes from an ethnic family knows the lounge room is a sacred space. Like, that's not for playing, that's for visitors. And, you know, you don't touch anything in there. And I remember her saying, you can put the cassette on. And it was, you know, the usual thing, you know, on a Saturday before she would clean the house. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's letting me use this. And I remember putting it on, and as soon as I heard the music, because it was just so fun and boppy, and my grandma started dancing with me in the lounge room. And I just remember it was such a special and probably most memorable experience, because it connected not only my culture to music, it also left a really fond memory of my grandma for me. So it kind of laid the foundation of how much I've grown to be such a music lover, and how it's definitely touched all different points of my life. So it kind of also opened up more of like a broad love of music. So it's not just, you know, there's not just one genre that I love. You know, I listen to so many different, you know, things, that I think having that experience of listening to something that was outside of the ordinary, because it was ethnic music. It wasn't, you know, the pop stuff that was on, video hits at the time or Rage. It was, something that I've never heard before, but because I understood it, and it was almost like deep down inside, I had like a connection to it. I know that sounds strange, but it's just, I think when you kind of belong and connect to something. So yeah, definitely a very fond memory, and really paved the way for me to be very accepting of lots of different music, and realize that it connects us to not only memories, but motivates us and makes us happy, which is, I think, the most important thing.
Yeah, yeah. And I loved a bit when you said that it helped you kind of connect to your culture and your heritage and where you come from. Because I think that's what we might forget sometimes, especially since I sometimes feel like, especially since we have all this English type of music, there's so much other interesting, fun, challenging as in, you have to really kind of listen and be open for it.
Yeah.
In so many different countries that, we always seem to think about generally America or something when we talk about English music, but I think that's, I can relate to that. I think that's really important. Nice. And it's really a lovely memory to have. I mean,
it is.
I can relate in some shape or form. And yes, I can definitely tell that has influenced your life, because ever since I've known you, that's kind of like, if I think of you, I think of music, I think of, the events, all the adventures you went on as well because of it. So, what sticks out for you there? Is that something in particular that if you think back, oh God, this was so awesome, or is it hard to pick?
I mean, it's hard to pick, because I do have to say I've been very fortunate that I've had a lot of really amazing experiences, and I've gotten to meet a lot of people that I never ever would have fathomed that I would have met, or even had a connection with. But I think for me, one of the most special moments, and probably the coolest, was, so Forever and a Day, I adored Ricky Martin. Before he started singing in English, I loved him. And I remember his first tour through Australia. It was 1998. He didn't sing anything in English. It was all in Spanish. And I went to that concert. I was probably the whitest girl there. I didn't care. I had such a good time. And I remember just, even when things went quiet in his career and he, kind of stepped back from the limelight, I always still had a soft spot for him. There was something about him. I thought he was really special. And I remember I had briefly met him. I went to one of his signings, and I remember it didn't go very well and my heart broke. And it wasn't because of him. It was just the event itself. It was really rushed and it just wasn't a good experience. And I always remember going, well, I wish I could do it over. I wish it could happen, differently. And then after many, many years of not being in the spotlight, I remember being on my lunch break at work, and this report popped up. I can't remember what entertainment program I was watching. And they announced that he was going to be a coach on The Voice Australia. And I remember, I think I dropped my fork or something, because I was so excited, because that meant he was coming back to Australia. I was like, oh my God. And I grabbed my phone and I immediately tweeted at him, basically saying how excited I was that he would be here. And about 10 minutes later, my phone pinged and I went, what? Picked it up, and he had sent me a DM, and I went, what is happening? And I read it, and he had written back to me saying how he was so excited and he couldn't wait to get back to Australia. And I'm there more hyperventilating, going, oh my God, he sent me a message. And, between him arriving in Australia, he had sent me a couple of messages, and I'm going, oh my God, this is so nice. And then he arrived, and right before they started filming, he did this massive signing, and it wasn't actually too far from where I live. And I thought, I'm going to go down there. I'm going to wait. I'll go see him. And he rocked up to the signing, and I happened to be first in line because Crazy Pants went down super early to line up. And I was led up on stage, and I was the first person. And as soon as he saw me, his whole face just lit up. And he said to me, "Oh my God, it's been too long." And I had never realized that I had been a familiar face just from throughout the years of, appreciating him and loving his music. And and every time he was in Australia, even if it was, because I remember he also did this random recording for a TV show. What was it called? It was Pepsi something or other. I don't even remember. But like, I had gotten tickets to that. So I was always at some sort of random thing that he was at, but we never really connected. And I never thought, you never really realized that they do notice the people that support them. Like, a lot of the time you don't realize that you're making an impact as well. And I remember when he said that, I was quite surprised because I really didn't expect him to say that. And he launched across, because they had built 2 tables in front of each other to stop people from being crazy fans, basically. But he threw himself across the 2 tables to grab me and hug me, and pashed me on the mouth, which was a big surprise. And I just went, "Oh my God." And he was just so like happy to be connected and to chat and to like see me, that I just went, "Oh my God, this is amazing." And then throughout his whole stint, while he was here in Australia, we were always at the voice studios with him, and he was always saying hi and talking, and it was just nice knowing that it kind of, the respect and that love went both ways. Mm-hmm. So I think that was probably the most coolest experience for me, that really lasted a long time, because he was here for quite some time. So yeah, that was really lucky, really lucky.
Wow, amazing. Oh, wow. And yeah, that's basically because you heard him sing, and that's how it all started, through his music. And then you realized he's actually a beautiful person.
Yeah, and it was really nice because, sometimes you hear people say never meet your heroes, but he's that one person where you can turn around and say, well worth it, because he's genuinely down to earth, and he's such a generous and kind-hearted person that, you never have that sort of hesitancy of what's it going to be like. Yeah. He's very, very warm, very, very kind.
Sweet. I think we might have to tag him into this interview just to let him know all the nice things you said about him.
Crazy girl.
Oh no, that's I could sit here and listen. I could listen to anyone tell me their experiences with someone they've met, and if they were really as good as yours, or even half as good, you know what I mean? I just love that. That gives me the fuzzies. I think it's just so beautiful if something like that happens, because it's music that kind of connects to people.
100%.
That's just awesome. Absolutely awesome. So you've met quite a few people. That was your biggest one, obviously, and the most memorable one. Yeah. I don't want to go into who wasn't so nice. I'll leave that one, but you might have a story on that one too, but we're not going there.
We won't do that, no.
We won't do that. No, we're not like that at all. We're all about happy vibes. Now, the question obviously is, I'm sort of thinking with Ricky Martin and his music, it seems to be, from the bit that I know, I must admit I don't know all of his music obviously, but the stuff that I know is always very either upbeat or very romantic, or very, I feel like it's very encouraging and warm, Did you kind of use his music or someone else's music to help you through maybe a tough time in your life? Who do you turn to if that happens, or do you prefer silence and just not be bothered? Because that's music in a way too.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, music is a constant for me. It doesn't matter what it is, whether I'm happy, sad, angry, frustrated, or, overjoyed. It's always like, I have a playlist for everything. Like, if you looked at my Apple Music, you'd be like, oh, really? Like, for every possible mood, I've got a playlist. But probably for me, I guess it's a mixture of people that I would listen to. But I think the one person or the one artist that is the most consistent for me in terms of anyone that I would listen to motivate me or make me feel better is it's definitely Pink. She's an artist that I feel, because she sings from the heart, and a lot of it is, it's raw, it's real, it's no holds bar. Like whether she's singing about, you know, being in love, or, you know, her husband left her, or, you know, loss, or, you know, joy, or, you know, the songs that now she would sing, you know, for her kids, or, you know, as like encouragement. I find that she kind of encompasses any mood that you could possibly be in, or any emotion that you could be feeling. So for me, she's probably one of the artists that I turn to the most.
Oops. And here Zoom gremlins have just
when I'm trying to, especially trying to like get myself out of a funk or out of something that's, you know, been really tough or difficult. I find that she gives me a good kick up the backside.
Yeah. She is one amazing powerhouse of a woman. I have to say that. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. She's amazing. And again, I mean, you've got to see her live. If you haven't done it yet, you've got to do it. I mean, I even dragged my husband along.
Oh yeah.
twice. And he was like, whoa. You know, he was literally phenomenal. Yeah, she's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, the stuff she does and still sings is just beyond me. How she does it, I have no idea. But
diaphragm of like mysterious power. The fact that she can swing upside down and still belt out her biggest hits. I have no words.
Me neither. I think I stood there and I just looked up and my mouth was like dropping to the floor, and I did that to my husband saying, "Did you see that?" And he's like, "I know, right?" And I think the funny thing was at one of the shows, I stood there and I just watched her and I'm like, I can't believe she's so close. Next thing I get that from my husband. He's like, is that her husband behind us? And it was literally him. He stood there, he was watching. Oh my God, that's Pink's husband. Like, you know, it's kind of surreal, these kind of moments that happen through her music and any other artist's music, really. So, yeah, no, Pink is, her honesty, really, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Totally.
100%.
Because there's so much BS going on sometimes that you just want someone that's actually real and you can really relate to their songs, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely. Oh, God. We could talk about so many like experiences on concerts and stuff. We would be here for hours, I think. But yeah, I'm just having a bit of a brain freeze. Whee! I'm probably still near Pink somewhere, dangling from the ceiling, I think.
Hey, I don't blame you. It's a good place to be.
It's a very good place to be, as long as I'm on the ground and she's up there. Not my cup of tea, not my jam. Don't think I could do it. So these days, with obviously events and everything not happening, we're a little bit deprived of all that kind of stuff. But it makes me kind of think, is there any sort of, I call it like a lockdown playlist. Been thinking about that over the last couple of weeks, because where I am at this moment in time, there is another lockdown happening. And yes, I've been starting to think, what kind of songs could I put on my lockdown playlist? What would you put on yours?
Oh,
you probably already have one.
Maybe. For me, I have to say it's probably not what would be expected. But when I'm at home and I'm stuck in the house or decided to have just a day at home where I don't want to go anywhere, and whether I'm cooking, cleaning, whatever chore I'm doing, I actually listen to Balkan music. So I would say that would 100% be my lockdown playlist. It would be Balkan music from all over, because I don't have a preference. For me, it doesn't matter whether they're Croatian, Serbian, Bosnian, Macedonian, doesn't matter. I will listen to it all. So that's my go-to, and that would definitely be my lockdown playlist. Yeah.
I did sort of a bit of a listen on YouTube before, and I thought, oh yeah, all right, I get it.
It's got like, there's this beat to it, and especially the genre that's known as turbo folk. It's just a vibe and a mood, and it's so much fun. And like, I don't care who you are, if you don't bop along to it, I'm sorry, like, something's not right in here. Like, it makes you want to tap your feet at the most minimum. It's just, there's something that, I don't know, as soon as I hear it, like, you just see me start like going, yeah.
Yeah, I did sort of listen to a few, and I thought this so reminds me back, because I was obviously growing up in Switzerland, so that's not too far from, that kind of place over there.
Yeah.
And I sort of remember there was a phase where Switzerland went through not something similar, but just the music and the beat itself, and then you just add on a bit of German on top.
Yeah,
it was the thing. And if you actually had like bars set up, like nightclubs in like a bar atmosphere, and it was like confetti everywhere, and it was literally like the Schunkelmusik, so to speak. It was just, oh my god, it's just so much fun. You just cannot be happy,
Exactly, and that's why it would be my lockdown playlist, because if I'm going to be stuck in the house, I want to be happy without having to go anywhere. I want to feel like I'm on holiday.
That's it. So that's maybe, and again, maybe that's for people who are not, or have like dual nationalities. Maybe explore the other bit a bit more. You never know what you find,
Exactly.
You never know. You really never know. Or even if you're not have like two nationalities, just check it out, It can't hurt.
Exactly.
There's so much good different language music out there, even if you don't understand the lyrics.
I was going to say, half the time, you don't have to understand it, because if the beat's good enough, and half the time you can kind of tell what they're singing just through like the way they emote themselves. So you kind of catch on like, oh, she a scorned woman, or, this is like a party song, or like you can really tell what it is. And I mean, there's a girl I work with, she's not Balkan, whatsoever. She can't understand the language. And she asked me about some of the music. And so she goes, send me like your top 10. So I sent it to her, and now she's actually created a playlist because it pumps her up at work and motivates her. So while she's doing her work, every now and then, she got her headphones in and she's bopping along. And I'm like, you see, music transcends everything. It doesn't matter that you don't understand.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh god, beautifully said. That's totally. Yeah, it does. I mean, like you said, going back when I was younger, I grew up with like French, Italian, German, English, and even if I didn't understand like the French or Italian bit, it's just the emotion that comes through their voice.
Absolutely.
That can make or break your day. I mean, if you're like, heartbroken, you might not want to listen to like, certain specific songs, even if you don't understand them. You just go, oh.
It's just waterworks.
I know. Not at work though. That's not a good place to do. Now, I always end my chats with my guests with one specific question, and this is, if you would have to describe your life or your business or your work life with one particular song, which one would you pick? Or could you pick one? Just one.
I would probably pick God is a DJ by Pink, because one of my favorite lines is, if God is a DJ, life is a dance floor. And for me, that would probably be the best way I would describe how I try to approach anything in life, whether it's work, whatever I've got going on. Because to me, I guess if you're not willing to go with the flow, whatever comes your way, like, you've got to make the best of it. Doesn't matter what it is. So slap on your favorite song and dance your way through it.
Mm. And even if the song comes on that you don't like, you're still going to do a little bit of that.
A little bit of that. You got to do a little bit of that.
Oh, lovely, wonderful. Well, thanks so much. I mean, God, time goes so quick when you chat about this kind of
I
stuff.
know.
We probably could have gone through many more memories, experiences, but
Ah,
yeah.
it's a never-ending list. I know. I mean, we've even had similar experiences. So, oh, sorry, my cat just hey, you all right?
Oops, here's the cat.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
he's just hold on. He's touching things he shouldn't touch.
there
Sorry.
he is. VIP. Here
Yeah,
he
sorry, viewers. Yeah,
is. Well,
himself.
the listeners won't see it, but that's just a cat now climbing into the picture.
Yeah. Oh, look at him staring straight at the camera. Of course he is.
Oh my God.
Oh
Yeah, well, there
dear.
you go. Amazing. There you
Uh,
go. Special appearance by BB.
Cheeky bugger. Sorry about that.
That's okay. It's all good. Music and animals are two of the best things in the world, I say. So there you go.
I agree. Oh, okay.
And off he goes. All right. Well, Nat, thank you so much for coming on and just sharing a bit more about, music and your experiences and how you perceive things around music. And I hope.
Thank you for having me.
Oh,
It's
pleasure,
so much
pleasure.
fun. I could talk to you for hours.
We might have to do part 2 at some point.
Oh, we should. Just so we can catch up again.
Yes. Well, anyway, for anyone who's watching or listening, thanks so much for tuning in. If you want to find out a bit more about Nat, you can find all the social handles and everything in the description of this podcast episode. And otherwise, thanks so much for tuning in. And I shall see or hear you in my next episode. As I always say, keep dancing and keep rocking, B-siders. Until next time.